I still remember the cold winter morning when everything fell apart. My son, Daniel, arrived at my door with a blank expression and a newborn baby wrapped in a thin pink blanket. The baby was trembling, yet silent, too silent. Daniel placed her in my arms and said the words that broke my heart. "Mom, she can't hear. I can't handle this. I'm giving her up." Before I could speak, he walked out. The door closed, but the echo of his decision stayed inside forever. The baby girl stared at me with calm, innocent eyes. She didn't cry like other newborns. She just looked, as if searching the world without sound. I asked, "What's her name?" Daniel didn't answer. He never named her. I held her tightly and whispered, "Your name is Hope, because you came into my arms when everything felt hopeless." Doctors confirmed what my son feared. Hope was completely deaf. Some people told me to give her to an orphanage. Some said she would never live a normal life. But every time Hope touched my face with her tiny hands, I felt something powerful. She wasn't broken. She was special. I promised myself I would give her everything she needed, even if I had to do it alone. Daniel avoided us for months. Whenever I called him, he ignored me. He didn't want updates. He didn't want pictures. He didn't want to know how Hope was growing. It hurt deeply, not for me, but for the little girl he abandoned. So I became both her grandmother and her mother. I worked extra hours. I learned sign language at night. I watched tutorials, read books, and practiced signing "I love you" until my hand shook. Hope watched me closely, and one day she raised her tiny hand and copied the movement. It was the first time she ever said something to me. I cried until my shirt was soaked. Raising a deaf child in a world built for sound is not easy. At school, kids avoided her. Teachers didn't understand her needs. Some parents complained she slowed down the class. But Hope never complained. She communicated through her bright eyes, her expressive smile, and her patient silence. When she wanted to show me something, she would take my hand gently and lead me to it. Her silence wasn't a weakness, it was her language. One evening, 5 years later, Daniel showed up at my door. He looked older, tired, and filled with regret. He stared at Hope, who was drawing butterflies on the floor. "She's beautiful," he whispered. I nodded, but didn't say anything. When Hope looked up, she stared at him for a long moment, curious but confused. Daniel knelt beside her and whispered, I'm your dad." Hope tilted her head, unable to hear him. Daniel realized it and burst into tears. For the first time, I saw true guilt in his eyes. Daniel wanted to be part of her life again, but trust is not built in a day. Hope didn't recognize him. She didn't run to him. She didn't smile at him the way she smiled at me. He tried learning sign language. He tried reading bedtime stories using gestures. He tried showing up every weekend. Slowly, painfully slowly, Hope's walls began to crumble. One day, she signed a word at him, "Papa." Daniel froze. His lips trembled. Tears fell down his face as he hugged her gently, finally understanding what he had almost lost forever. One night, Daniel confessed something I never expected. "Mom, when I found out she was deaf, it reminded me of my father. Remember how he used to call you names? How he said you were defective when your hearing grew weak? I was terrified I would become like him, that I wouldn't be strong enough." His fear wasn't about Hope. It was about his past. I placed my hand on his shoulder and said, "Leaving your child doesn't break the cycle. Loving her does." Hope's school organized a silent performance for children with hearing disabilities. It wasn't a musical or a dance. It was a beautiful visual story told only through movement and expression. Hope stood on stage, her hands moving gracefully, her face glowing with confidence. The entire audience was silent, not because they had to be, but because they were mesmerized. When she finished, everyone stood up and clapped. Daniel cried harder than anyone in the room. It was the first time he realized just how powerful silence could be. Her laughter is silent, but louder than any sound in the world. Her presence healed all the wounds time couldn't. Daniel is a devoted father. He never misses her sign language classes, he attends every school event, and every night he signs a simple sentence to her. "I'm here. Always." Hope signs back, "I love you, Papa." Sometimes, life breaks us in unexpected ways. Sometimes people run away when fear becomes too heavy. But love, real love, finds its way home. And Hope? She isn't just my granddaughter. She is the reason our family learned to listen, not with ears, but with hearts.